In 1878, as a result of the Cyprus Conference, the United Kingdom received a protectorate of the island of Cyprus in exchange for the United Kingdom's military support of the Ottoman Empire should Russia attempt to take possessions of territories from the Ottomans in Asia, or Central Asia, since the Great Game was still going on. The first Biden who was placed in charge of the administration was given the title of High Commissioner and was Lieutenant General Sir Grant Joseph Worsley. The British faced a major political problem on the island. The indigenous Cypriots believed their natural right to unite the island with Greece following the collapse of the Ottoman Empire. The British authorities carried out the first census in 1881. The total population of Cyprus was 100,086,173, of whom 137,631, or 73.9%, were Greeks, 45,438, or 24.4%, were Turks, and 3,084, 1.7%, were minorities of Maronets, Latins, mostly from France and Portugal and Spain, and there were some Armenians as well. The Bishop of Kitium Capricornos addressed Sir Grantley Joseph Worsley upon his arrival in Lacarin on a speech on the 22nd of July 1878, saying, "We Greeks accept the change of government because we believe that Great Britain will eventually help Cyprus, just like with the Ionian Islands. Unite Cyprus with Mother Greece." While the Cypriots at first welcomed the British rule, hoping that they would gradually achieve prosperity, democracy and national liberation, they became disillusioned. The British imposed heavy taxes to cover the compensation, which they were paying to the Sultanate for having conceded Cyprus to them. Moreover, the people were not given the right to participate in the administration of the island, since all power was reserved for the High Commissioner and to London. However, Cyprus' status as a protectorate of the British Empire ended in 1914, when the Ottoman Empire declared war against the Triple Entente powers, which included Great Britain. Cyprus was then annexed by the British Empire on the 5th of November 1914. During the course of the First World War, Britain offered to cede Cyprus to Greece if they would fulfill the treaty obligations to attack Bulgaria, but Greece declined. Poor Cyprus. So, why is Cyprus important? Well, no fighting took place on Cyprus during World War I. However, the island acquired an important role both as a source of provisions and as a recuperation home for injured soldiers in the Middle Eastern campaign or shipping to Egypt. Indeed, between 1914 to 1918, the small, poor and underdeveloped island of Cyprus became the main provider of grain, timber, tobacco and mules, while military convalescent homes at Mount Thoros were built to accommodate thousands of injured Allied soldiers. Cyprus's news in the war effort inevitably had a significant impact on the island's economy and infrastructure. During the war years, the island experienced a boost of its agricultural production and an influx of money while several technical services were established. This was a critical period in Cypriot history. Alright, I don't really talk about post-war stuff that much because it's chilling here by the Cold War. Anyway, we're going to be a while from the Cold War, so let's try and explain what happens. So, after World War I, the Greco-Turkish War happens, so Turkey expels all foreign powers and makes the Republic of Turkey. So, after they have the Republic of Turkey, they turn their eyes to Cyprus, which they deemed theirs, and still has a very good majority of people on it. Not really Turkish, because 22.4% is not a lot. More of a minority to the Greeks, which have 79.4%, but still a huge minority compared to the Latins, the Cypriots, and of course the Armenians. So, the EOKA comes into power, which is the Erekol Organizisti Koporone Arguston, which is the Greek party which tries to actually take Cyprus for Greece, or actually gain autonomy and have the majority Greeks to actually run the island. But the Turks, seeing this as a threat to their Turkish interests, the Turkish Cypriots had the population. The Turkish Cypriot population wanted to split Cyprus in half, so there will be a Turkish side and a Greek side, so that's where the split comes. But also communicational breakdowns of the constitutional breakdown of intercommunal talks, which is the Turkish, the Armenians and the Greeks. Cause there's still a minority of Greeks, there's still a minority of Armenians, Cypriots, Latins, mostly Spanish and some Iberians, and a lot of other minorities in Cyprus. So what happens is that the populations of the minorities don't really have a say, because there's basically, you're either Greek or you're either Turkish, Cypriot. But being Christian, they still want to be part of a Christian community and not a Muslim community, so they would rather go for the Greek side. So what happens then is that the proposal for the splitting in half of Cyprus, because they're the Cyprus, the Greek Cypriots and the Turkish Cypriots, They basically split it in half, but then Turkey invades at last minute because good old Turkey. You know, the Ottoman Empire, one last time, just like the Falkland Wars, boys, just like the Falkland Wars. One last imperial struggle. So, it was a de facto coup d'etat and the Turkish invasion happened, and of course that what splits the island in half, because Britain is like, this is our island, this is still our island, we're still in the 20th century, we still have a little colonialism left, just a little. The Falkland Wars was the last, but I mean Hong Kong is technically the last, but they didn't really fight for Hong Kong, they just give it up. So yeah, we're gonna fight for this colony one last time. Turkey was like, nah, get out my island, bitch. And Britain was all like, no swearing on the Christian Minecraft server. And the division of the island was basically a UN resolution to keep everyone happy. The Christians go in the south, the Muslims stay in the north. And that's the brief summary, the meme history post World War One. Anyway, this has gone on for far too long. I hope you enjoyed, and yeah, I don't know, we'll do stuff like this, make it not really memeable, not really understandable, because I know the viewers are smarter than that, but you know, just have fun with it, because we're getting to the juicy details after World War II. There were also the communists and some political inclinations, and there was also almost an assassination of a Greek and Eastern Orthodox member by the Christians themselves, but you know, no, those are stories for another day. Actually, no, there was not. Just a set of ideas, legal battles, the 1966 incident, accusations and settlement processes, and that is why Cyprus is what it is today. Yeah, Kofi Annan, thank you Kofi Annan, rest in peace. And that's pretty much it. Anyway, hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next one.